I never thought a casual evening at home could unravel everything I thought I knew about my marriage. My name is Damien. I'm 38, and I've been married to Fiona for almost 12 years. When we first met, she had this energy that drew people in. Quick wit, infectious laughter, and a way of making you feel like you'd known her your entire life. I was quieter, reserved, but reliable, grounded. I liked that balance we had. Our early years were effortless, filled with long walks, coffee dates on Sundays, and nights talking about everything and nothing. It felt easy, like life was moving at the perfect rhythm. But over the past couple of years, something shifted. It wasn't explosive, no shouting matches or fights. Just subtle cracks in the foundation, tiny hints that something was no longer right. Fiona started spending more time texting and calling her male best friend, Callum. I'd met Callum a few times. Polite, charming, easy to talk to. Nothing concerning at first. I even found myself appreciating that Fiona had someone she could confide in. But over time, the way she laughed at his jokes, the way she lingered on the phone late into the night, it started to feel different. At first, I told myself I was being paranoid. I'd replay our marriage in my head, reminding myself of everything we'd built together. It's just friendship, I whispered in the dark when I lay awake. You're imagining things. But the unease kept growing, like a low hum that wouldn't stop. The evening that changed everything began as any other. I'd spent the day at work, tired but content, looking forward to dinner with Fiona. She was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, Callum on the speakerphone. I didn't think much of it until I overheard something that made my stomach tighten. She was laughing at a joke, leaning closer to the phone, whispering words I couldn't make out. The familiarity, the softness in her voice when she spoke to him, it felt like a line had been crossed. I waited until she hung up, trying to mask my tension with a calm smile. Dinner's almost ready, I said. She nodded but avoided eye contact. I could feel the weight of something unsaid hanging in the room. After dinner, I decided I couldn't let it go anymore. I needed clarity, even if it hurt. I told her we should talk, and she followed me into the living room, her expression guarded but not entirely unreadable. I started cautiously. Fiona, I need to be honest about something. I feel like there's a distance between us lately. I don't know what's going on with you and Callum, but it's affecting me. I need to know where we stand. For a moment, she didn't answer. I could see her fidgeting with the bracelet on her wrist, her eyes fixed somewhere on the carpet. Then she finally looked at me and said, softly, almost afraid, Damien, can we step into the bedroom? I need to say this without distractions. We walked in silence. My heart was pounding, but my voice stayed calm. She took a deep breath, sitting on the edge of the bed. I remained standing, hands loosely at my sides. I've been trying to figure out how to tell you this without hurting you, she began. Callum, he's been more than a friend lately. And I know it's wrong, but I can't ignore what I feel. I didn't want to hurt you, Damien, but I can't lie anymore. I felt a strange mixture of anger, disbelief, and clarity wash over me. It wasn't just betrayal that stung. It was the subtle, slow realization that the person I'd trusted most had been emotionally involved with someone else, someone I had met, someone who had no right to this space in my marriage. I wanted to lash out, to yell, to demand explanations, but I couldn't. Every fiber of me wanted to maintain dignity, to stay composed, to not give her or him the satisfaction of seeing me break. Instead, I asked one question, quiet but deliberate. Have you done anything physical? She shook her head. No, it's emotional. I haven't crossed that line. That didn't make it any easier to breathe. Emotional infidelity can cut just as deep as physical, and I felt that cut. I had spent years giving everything to this marriage, my presence, my effort, my patience, and now I was confronted with a love that had been quietly shifting elsewhere. I let out a slow breath. Fiona, I need some time to process this, I said. I can't just pretend I'm okay, because I'm not. Her eyes welled up, and I could see the guilt in her face, but I didn't let it sway me. I walked to the other side of the room, sat down, and let the silence stretch between us. The next few days were tense, but necessary. I avoided confrontation. I avoided accusations. I focused on clarity, thinking through what I needed, what I deserved, and what staying silent had cost me in the past. I realized I had spent too long accommodating and excusing behavior that eroded the trust we had. Emotional cheating might not leave physical scars, but it leaves a vacuum, an absence of the person you thought you knew. I also noticed something important. The absence of drama made the situation clearer. No screaming, no slamming doors, no public arguments. Just facts. A calm assessment of the reality before me. And in that clarity, I found power. Not power over her, but power over myself. Power to decide my next step without panic, without fear, without losing myself in anger. When she tried to reach out later that week, I maintained my composure. I listened, acknowledged, but kept my distance. Every interaction was a choice, and I realized that for the first time in years, I was choosing myself. Choosing my emotional well-being over comfort, routine, or obligation. Looking back, the hardest part wasn't the revelation itself, but recognizing the slow erosion of intimacy and trust over the years. The casual laughs, the whispered conversations, the small betrayals I'd overlooked. They accumulated quietly until they became undeniable. And that's what I understood. Marriages are not just held together by love or loyalty, but by mutual respect, transparency, and presence. When one side withdraws emotionally, the foundation cracks, often unnoticed until the structure is fragile. I don't know what the future holds for Fiona and me. Maybe we'll reconcile, maybe we won't. But I know that this clarity, facing the emotional truth calmly, without losing myself in rage or desperation, was necessary. I finally see what I deserve, what boundaries cannot be crossed, and what I will no longer tolerate. Sitting alone in the quiet of our bedroom that night, I felt a strange peace. Not happiness, not relief, not even closure, just a steady, grounded certainty. I have control over my choices, my actions, and my dignity. Fiona has her choices, and I have mine. And in that separation, even if temporary, I can breathe without the weight of unspoken betrayals pressing down. Sometimes, the hardest truth is not shouting, not confrontation, not public vindication. The hardest truth is calm acknowledgement, accepting reality, choosing dignity, and allowing the silence to reveal what matters most. I've learned that protecting oneself emotionally is not selfish. It is survival. And maybe, just maybe, survival is the first step toward finding genuine love again, or at least finding peace with the love you once had.